Okay, folks, just wanted to show everybody what we've got done here. This is a 302. It's out of an 85 LTD. Might be an 86, but 85, 86. But you can see it's got throttle body fuel injection and AOD transmission. Still got the manual kick down and new water pump. As you can see, it's got some few oil leak issues, but it does run very good. And so we're gonna re-gasket a bunch of stuff here. We got to pull the intake and change it anyway. We got to pull the pan. This has got the double hump pan, front and rear, so we've got to change that to a front sump pan. Pan the pickup, and I think we're going to take these exhaust manifolds off and put a set of headers on it. And I'm not real big on headers, not on a car you're going to drive every day for sure, but I mean something like this, it's not that big of a deal. I think everything else, I think we'll go ahead and run a serpentine belt, and all we're running is alternators, so we don't have any power steering or anything, so we'll get the smog pump and stuff off. This has got the smog pipes on the back of the heads, and don't know if anybody's familiar with them, but I'm not a Ford man, so I hadn't had to mess with them before, but we're going to block them off. Everything else is fine. I was going to use the 5-speed, but this is a good transmission. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the automatic and automatic overdrive. It'd be nice to have a 5-speed in it, but you know, I'd have to change everything over. I'd still have to pull the transmission in. The transmission is a 5-speed. It's actually a 4-speed with overdrive, and it's in a truck, half-ton pickup, and it's a top loader. It's not a real big transmission, but it's still have to do some changing and stuff. And if I had a Borg Warner or something out of a Mustang or something, I'd probably use it. But we're going to go ahead and use what we've got here, and we'll just make an automatic car. We've got the other Perkins out of the Jacobson mower, and got the transmission there we need to pull off. You can see my mess I made here. Let me get some oil dry out. But here is the transmission. I wasn't sure about it. I gave $5 for it, and all I needed was actually this rear shaft and the tail shaft and the yoke. But that worked out good. So now the only thing we need to do is get this one torn down, slide the transmission out and get it taken apart and get the parts in it. And this thing will be ready to put into 55. And we're still probably going to do a turbo on it. And we're going to go with the good turbo, the HX30, which is what I'd like to have put on the other one, but we didn't have it. But it's something we can create a little boost with. And I think we can turn the fuel up just a little bit on it and get it cleaned up good. It's not oily or anything. It's just dirty from sitting, and of course from being on that golf course where it mowed grass. And now this one here had the back wheels and everything on it when I got it. It came from a junkyard, but this one you could start it up, push the clutch in, put it in gear, and it did move and pull. So I know there's no clutch issues with this one. The other one I checked it out and was pretty positive that it was going to be okay before the rat rod build. If not, I would have done something, but this one's the same, and we'll get to work on this transmission and see if we can get it swapped over and get the parts swapped over, so we'll be ready for that. And okay, we got most stuff stripped off this one and just about ready to start cleaning on it. Pretty nasty engine. Been needing valve cover gaskets and probably the intake gasket. It may be leaking around the distributor too. But anyway, all that's got to come off, but we want to go ahead and clean it up before we go to pulling the intake off or anything. And got a few more holes here to block off, make sure we don't get any water in. But we will keep on it and get this one cleaned up. I'll show you more. Okay folks, I'm switching back forth between jobs depending on what parts I got and such, but here is a shaft out of our Jacobson lawnmower transmission, and there's a shaft out of the Ford 4-speed transmission. You can see the difference in length, and that's why we're having to change them. And so we will go through and pull this stuff off, put it on there, synchronizers, everything, and get it onto our new shaft and get it back together. I just wanted to show you the the difference in the length of these things, and you know why we're having to change it now. Alright, we'll get her together and I'll show you. Okay folks, we have run out of parts for the engine in the Falcon. Waiting on an oil pan and a pickup and a few other parts, but we did pick up a set of headers for it, and I decided to go ahead and sit this engine down in just to see what I was going to have to do to clear everything. Luckily, with the hood as high as it is in this truck, I can keep it up a little bit higher because I can't move it forward like I'd like to because of the radiator issue. The radiator actually comes to these mounts here. This is where the clip mounts on, so it's straight here, and then the oil pan is actually going to be right above the axle. Go to the other side and see if we can see it a little easier. Right above the axle, and right now there's probably, and the back of the engine's going to come back up some, but got a little bit of clearance there, about 3 or 4 inches, but it's going to come up, and we'll move it around a little bit. I'm going to actually cut into this cross member and build a like a sump into this cross member for that oil pan to sit in, and of course not go in and touch, but I mean just so it'll clear it. And I've got to get this floorboard out. I've got my transmission done, ready to go, so I'll get this floorboard out of it, and that way we can go ahead and pull the engine back out. We're going to cut that section out I need on the cross member, and then we'll sit it back in with the transmission and go from there. Alright. Okay folks, I got the center of the floor out, and I just heated them up and used a screwdriver. That's some special bolts that GM used that I don't even actually have an end for it, but I just heated them up and took them right on out with a flat screwdriver, so didn't hurt anything. It'll all need cleaned up and stuff, but anyway, I got the transmission finished up there, and it's ready to go on the back on the engine. Get it back on there, and then I'm going to pull the shifter out and see if we can get it to sit back in there. See what it looks like. I'll probably go ahead and cut out the section here. Now this is not going to be putting it in permanent. I'm just going to put it in and see what we can get figured out and what we need to do, and because I want to clean all this up and paint it, including cleaning the engine up. So but we'll go ahead and see what we can do about getting this set in there. Alright, show you more. Okay folks, I just cut me a little piece out and bent it down, and like I said, we'll pull the engine back out and we'll weld all that in, make it right, but for now that ought to get us sitting in there. Hopefully our transmission will clear and we can get the whole thing sit in here this time and get some good measurements, and you know, go on and get the motor mounts and everything made for it. So let me set you up here. I'm doing this by myself, so, and the engine of course is spinning around on the forklift, so I've got a strap on it, but I'm going to try to get it sit in there. We'll see what happens. Alright. Sorry about that, I had a phone call there. Alright, give you an idea anyway. We're going to have to raise it up quite a bit, but as you can see, the top of the hood goes here, so we're 5 inches over our pipe right here. Now we're going to run a turbo on this, but we can, we can do that elbow sharp if we need to. We actually had to shorten it up on the floor to get the hood to close, but yeah, it's definitely going to have to go up. Now, I've got no weight on the chains, and it's not on the pan, but it's close. It's probably 1.5 inches off, but it can go up. I mean, we've got room to go up with it. I had to do a little bit of floor work there to get it in. I actually cut it and bent it up. Now, this thing's had some floor repairs done here. It's got stuff riveted in, and I'm probably going to weld stuff back in there anyway. But as you can see, when I'm done, it's going to sit higher than what the hump sits, so we'll have to remake it. I keep calling it a hump, but the center of the floor, you understand what I'm saying? I guess when I was young, that's, we always knew the whole center, everything was rear-wheel drive, so the whole center was a hump. And but anyway, so we will do what we got to do there. Now it's sitting down on that cross member that goes under the bell housing, but the engine's not going to quite be back that far. And also we're going to be running the rear mount and a rear cross member with the rear transmission mount. And that floor, hopefully we can get part of it back on here, and then we'll build the rest over halfway the hump, and we'll get that done. Still got the cardboard in it. We got one hole here where I guess that was the entrance for the mouse to get in, but surprising to see the cardboard still left. Anyway, the ashtray, and this one's just a cover. I thought most of them had ashtrays there. I was really bad about cutting these out, and luckily it's got two places it's cut a little bit, but they make a repair panel for it. But you know, we could fix that there. We actually welded up enough to grind it back down and get it right, but you know, we'll figure that out as we go. But yeah, it's sitting in there anyway. And the cross member for the rear will be an easy one. You know, that's not a problem at all to make. And the rat rod build the Ford, I actually bolted that cross member in, and it worked out really good. I don't think this will be too bad because, you know, like I said, our radiator actually will be right here at these marks. So that puts me about 3 or 4 inches back, actually, you know, the fan from the radiator. And you know, the closer the better, but if you got to build a shroud, you can. I think everything's going to work out really good so far. It looks good anyway. But a little hole there, it's going to work out all right. And you know, that's actually, I think, what it's actually sitting on. It's going down and sitting down there. But you know, it's like I said, I'm going to raise it up probably 2 inches. That'll give me 3.5 inches off the oil pan in the center. And these springs are really good and stiff, so I think them Ford springs that we had on the rat rod was about wore out. These things actually didn't go down much at all. And you know, at 3.5 inches, you can see where the stop is. The stop's only 1.5 inches off. So, you know, I'd say 1.5 inches, and then, you know, give it a little bit more. So probably 2 inches is the max that it would ever come down. So if we get that up 3.5, 4 inches, should be no problem at all. And it's not actually going to sit up as high as, you know, I figured it would. This truck's a lot higher, you know, cab wise from the frame to the top than what that Ford was. So. But anyway, it's Sunday evening, and I think I'm going to stop on this for now. And like I said, I've got the parts coming for the Ford, so we're going to jump back and forth between these two and see how quick we can get something done on them. And I'll show you more. You know, I've checked this clutch setup over. I'm going to be able to run the manual linkage on this because it actually pulls. So I'm going to use the original pedal, and might have to do a little bit of changing around. But, you know, it's a little high on the bell housing compared to what it is here, but we'll get it figured out. And you know, I don't want to run a hydraulic on this one if I can keep from it. And we're going to run an original master cylinder and everything on the for the brakes. But all right, we'll keep you updated on this. And till next time, bye.